What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, and Create Space. Link will be in the description box below as usual. Go get it. PayPal link there also. They asked me to put it up, so I put it up. Thanks everybody for supporting. But this video is entitled, I agree with the MadameNoire article. So there's an article written saying black women, should no longer save broken black men. On premise alone, I agree with it. But we got a problem. Problem number one. The woman who wrote it is African. I've seen some of the articles she wrote. She writes good articles. It's not like she writes things that could be considered controversial, but or pertinent, right? But here's the problem. When writing these articles about black women, and I don't like this when people who are not necessarily African American as ADOS, they never write their culture in it too. See, the example she was using was black Americans with black Americans, but there were no Africans. And we as black people were, but I don't never see you put your group in there. So even if you do this as one of the issues with that is African men have a reputation of being more violent with their women than black American men have a reputation of being violent with our women. But sometimes it makes it look like a pseudo. To take a shot at my men, I'm gonna take a shot at y'all, so I can kind of get back at my men, but go home. That's a problem. Second thing, while I agree with the premise of the article, I don't agree with the narrative. I'm gonna tell you what I mean by that. Black men have been saying for years, stop trying to save these guys who are messed up. Black women have been saying for years, stop trying to save a grown man, in general, or stop trying to save a grown man that's messed up. The narrative, the elders have said this. Even people's children have said this. But this narrative, as if these women are going out and saving the black man and saving the world without being warned, and all these black men are messed up. No. Because how often have they told, don't date those violent guys? Can't stop them. Don't date those criminal-minded guys. Can't stop them. Don't date those quote-unquote exciting guys. Can't stop them. Years ago they had this thing where they was like, for every there's a good black man for every 10 black women. So there's 10 good black men for every 100 black women. And the problem with that was all of the black women were considered good. All of them. Not the ones that had bad attitudes, the ones that were overweight, the ones that were mean, the ones that didn't like men, the ones that were lesbians or bisexual. All of them was good black women, but they could only find 10, like all of them. This is what I mean by I don't like the narrative. And brothers, to a degree, the narrative is like nah. Because here's the problem. The narrative puts it so that y'all not warned about these situations when you are. And here's the other issue about the narrative. When y'all put out these narratives about being with so many bad brothers, you're also the very group who has glorified being with bad brothers and who has marginalized and demonized good brothers. So you putting out the narrative, you don't realize you put out a narrative that you should no longer save these bad black men. At the same time, bad boys is no good. Bad boys are so fun, but good boys ain't no good. Something like that. Bad boys ain't no good, but good boys ain't no fun. That was the thing, right? That was the Mary J. Blige phrase. And, subsequent other phrases, you need a soldier, blah, 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 blah. I need somebody like this or whatever. So the very same, because say women are getting murdered by guys, you know, when you're glorifying dating guys who have the propensity to murder people, that narrative is off. Now, part of this narrative thing, because something happened, I was going to make a video on that, but I'm going to add this to this. This idea that black women's lives and experiences trump the whole world's. What I mean by that is, so I put up an article about I shared a post about a brother that died in Afghanistan. One of the women I know hit me up and was like, this is why I'm never going to put my daughter in the military. And I was like, your daughter's not going to be on the front lines. Now, you know, she's a girl. You're not, unless you're having a son, that's really not, you know, that's not something that's normally going to happen. So her response was, you know, that's not true. If you're a nurse, you know, you're basically in just as much danger. And I'm like, listen, being a boots on the ground soldier and a nurse in the barracks is two completely different levels of exposure to violence. You get what I'm saying? And she's like, you know, like they're not going out on missions like that. So she's like, you know, but they're there. I'm like, okay, a nurse in the barracks in Afghanistan is totally different than a guy in a shootout in Afghanistan. Maybe the same area, but not the same situation. Until another dude who was a soldier came up and said, listen, I've been on either 2 or 3 tours. It's a handful of times that a woman actually rode with us. And she, oh, well, that's good to know. But here's the problem. I know her. Her brother's in the military. Her dad's a vet. She knows this already. But this, because a woman is around, it's the same thing. It's the same thing as getting shot at. Because it's a woman. So I'm going to put my daughter in a situation hypothetically because she a woman in Afghanistan and she don't even need a pistol where she had. She's the same as if my son was in Afghanistan, you know, in a shootout. You know, in a hot zone. Problem. This, you know, this is the narrative issue that you ladies are you're trying to make statements, and I get the statements you're making, and I agree with the statement you shouldn't be messing with broken men. But here's the flip side of that narrative. We've told, the whole black community has told, you know, our women, you know, to basically infinity, stop dealing with messed up dudes. But on the reverse side of that argument, accept me as I am. I could be messed up, but I'm a black woman. See, I might be broken because a man, because it was a man and a man and a man and a man. So you gotta accept me losing my mind because a man and a man one day and a man one day. And one day a man, and it wasn't really a man, it was a G.I. Joe action figure, but it was a male G.I. Joe action figure, so it was a man. That. See, some of you ladies have that issue where guys don't want to be dealing with broken women, and they're just supposed to, because that's what men supposed to do. We supposed to provide and protect and take care of the sick, the broken. You know, give me your sick, you're broken, you're beat up, you're molested, you're raped, you're bad attitudes, you're spoiled brats. That's we gonna take them all, baby. We the Statue of Liberty for all kinds of women. No. See, this narrative is alive at the same time that narrative is alive. So you got to be careful about these things you put out, because no longer are we living in a day where that, you know, nobody knows the other side. And this is where it's a problem, because, you know, you putting out this information as if people don't know the other side. You know, because, you know, there's going to be violence. It's part of the human condition. But I get it. Black women don't want to be part of the human condition. But take this back. the other part of this narrative. Some of these broken men were broken by women. Some of these broken men were broken because they were doing things on the behalf of women, and women got to go off scot-free, and they got to pay. They had to pay the consequences of it. So they're broken by women. And see, this is where some of the guilt and leaning towards this goes to, because some of y'all don't want to admit y'all put a lot of men in bad situations because of things you wanted. He had to pay the cost of it, and now either that guy or a guy that reminds you of that guy is who you reach out to out of your own guilt because you was able to go home. You were able to be just fine. They wasn't. So, like, I get the premise, though. Like I said, I agree with the premise, but tell the whole story. You know. But like, share, subscribe. Catch y'all on the next one. We out. Peace.